It was June 3rd, 2002 at 9 a.m. when I got the call. I thought maybe it was my secret crush finally calling to profess his love. But no, it was a hospital. My father had passed away, just 12 hours after I had tucked him into bed in the ICU. That night, I remember massaging his frail legs. I talked to him about my life, how I hated biochemistry class, my latest teenage drama. But as usual, he couldn't hear me. And I wondered if he could even hear me at all. Now, I still picture him in that cold, sterile hospital room, wearing these bright red, fuzzy Christmas socks. He always knew how to make an impression, even on his way out. So, how could a world hold so much joy and so much sadness all at once? Now, if it was just my dad, it would have been bad enough. But we were just 2 days away from what would have been my mom's 56th birthday. And 2 years before that, I had already lost my younger brother. And in an instant, I was an orphan. Or at least that's what I thought back then. That day, I got promoted by life to this new role, leader by default, caretaker to my youngest brother, Vinay, my only immediate family I had left. Now, in losing everyone, it gave me this relentless drive to succeed. As a child of immigrants, it was kind of the ultimate coping mechanism, and it was kind of expected. So I went into survival mode, working so hard, I could have likely been running a startup in my parents' garage with nothing but sheer willpower and instant noodles. Yet here's the strange part. In all of that pain, I felt a little free. It's like living your worst nightmare suddenly leaves you with this odd gift. You have nothing left to fear. Both grief and relief, sadness and freedom, all in me, all at once. The beautiful paradox of life. Now, looking back, you've probably had some of those defining moments that have knocked you sideways, maybe led you here today. For me, this was it. Today, I stand before you as someone that supports others in living more meaningful lives on purpose. But back then, I was just trying to survive. Years later, I would ask myself, what are we all chasing? Now, we're all in this rat race, hustling after success, accolades, recognition, but is it truly fulfilling? You see, my father was from India, my mother was from the Philippines, and they taught me the keys to the ultimate American dream was hard work. But guess what? Their dreams ended early. They both fell sick with cancer long before they can live the lives they worked so hard to build. Now, this made me wonder, are we truly living, or are we just sprinting towards the next goal? Now, in working with thousands of people across my platforms, I've come to find 3 meaningful shifts that contribute to living a more meaningful life. And it is my hope today that you walk away with the same. Look, we live in a culture that prioritizes and glorifies hustle over health, fueling an epidemic of burnout, loneliness, and chronic stress. We wake up at 5 a.m. to crush it. We tackle those endless to-dos. We come home so drained, we barely have any energy left for the people we love, often missing the moments that matter. You wouldn't drive your car on empty, so why do we do this to ourselves? What if, number 1, slowing down and achieving less made us more effective? Research shows that by intentionally slowing down, it actually preserves our mental health and our energy. And it also awakens our creativity and renews our sense of purpose. Stoic philosopher Seneca said it best. He who is everywhere is nowhere. Seneca believed that keys to a fulfilling life is when we savor each moment, not scatter our attention. Similarly, Albert Einstein credited his biggest breakthroughs to letting his mind wander on long, reflective walks. They both remind us, and they both understood that impactful ideas often arise when we're taking a step back from constant productivity, revealing that the best ideas come when we actually give ourselves mental space. In losing both of my parents in a span of 4 years, along with my brother, people would always praise me as if I had won some badge of honor. They would praise my resilience. They would say things like, "Neeta, you are so strong. I wish my kids were like you." And I internalized, I could never break, no matter how broken I felt inside. And that belief led me into a career I didn't love. But who likes going to the dentist? I was climbing a mountain of success, but my world was crumbling beneath me. Like the Japanese art of kintsugi, the cracks in my life became spaces where light entered. And I realized I needed to break. And it led me to wonder, what am I doing this for? What is my true purpose? Number 2, this is where we let others in. 3 little words, "I need help," changed my life. 1 in 3 Americans today say they are lonely, and nearly half of them report not having meaningful relationships. What if we prioritize creating more meaningful relationships with people that walk alongside us during life's darker days? After all, it's vulnerability that builds connection, not achievement. The longest-running study by Harvard professor Dr. Robert Waldinger shows that people who prioritize real and meaningful connections over wealth or fame actually lead longer and happier lives, revealing that true strength is not in doing life alone, but with community. So after years of chasing my success and burying my sadness, one thing kept me going, and that was my friendships. They were the industrial strength glue that held me together even when life got tough. Even when I pulled away, they kept showing up, pouring into me when I had nothing left. And also leaning into them forced me to confront the things that I had been running from for years, like accepting the parts of me that were burning out in the chase for more, and that little Neeta who was forced to grow up too soon. This led me to shift number 3, building your emotional capacity. Now look, change is uncomfortable, but real lasting change often happens in micro moments. Neuroscience tells us that when we make small changes in our thoughts and in our habits, in our actions, it actually helps us rewire our brains. So I started making smaller changes at first, like saying yes to new experiences. And eventually I would make larger changes, like selling my dental practice, both of which allowed me to align more with my purpose. So, what's one small change you can make today? Now, I define emotional capacity as the ability to hold all feelings, not just the good ones. We are so conditioned to avoid discomfort. So we pick up our phones and we scroll for dopamine, we drink past 10 p.m., we ghost that friend. But building emotional capacity, it's like going to the gym, but for your feelings. It's painful, maybe awkward at first, but powerful in the long run. In each rep, you're stretching and strengthening your ability to hold the equivalent of life's bigger and heavier feelings, like painful heartache or gut-wrenching grief. When we stop numbing and start feeling, we cultivate a deeper ability to grow, to connect, and to heal through life's toughest moments. Looking back, I realized that life isn't about the chase for success or collecting all of those awards that will somehow stay on a shelf collecting dust. No, it's about truly living and embracing the paradox of what it means to be fully human. Like the ridiculousness of my dad's socks next to the heartbreak of losing him. Even in the worst moments, there is joy. When I became an orphan, I realized family doesn't have to be biological. They are in the people that you choose to do life with. The real magic is you just have to let them in. So, what are you really chasing? Don't wait for that phone call that forces you to stop. Savor the moments that you would normally rush through. Because as my father taught me, in losing everything, we discover what truly matters. Presence, connection, and the courage to live on purpose. Thank you.